Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One of the earmarks of worshiping a living God, a living Krishna in the present moment, is that he gives you insight. He helps your discernment. He gives you spiritual vision. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. I woke up this morning with an understanding of something that has been introduced into our Raganuga worship, our Raganuga sessions with Srila Gaura Haridas, my Raganuga Bhakti Guru. I'm finding that a lot of the older disciples of Srila Prabhupada are having to go for what's called rebalancing treatments. These are neurological, physical manipulations of the body to relieve tensions and stress. And as one disciple told me, the traumas that are built up, they become stored as neurological blockages. And I was told that, oh, it feels so good when they're doing these physical manipulations. It feels so good. So they're having to go for these treatments, which are expensive. They're paying someone to touch their bodies, to relieve them of these stresses. Now, on the other hand, in Raganuga sessions, spontaneously, the devotees are touching each other, not sexually, not lustfully, but curatively. Spiritual healing. And they're growing together in love of Godhead. These have been nicknamed puppy piles. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Because they're naturally so close to each other in their worship of the Lord. It's very natural. We see in the account of Ambarish Maharaj, there's some description of this practice that he would engage in as one of the 9 forms of worship. It's under the category of surrendering everything to Krishna. The Maharaj Ambarish, it's described, used all parts of his body to worship the Lord. His feet to carry him to the temple, his hands to offer flowers, his tongue to taste prasadam, speak the glories of the Lord. So, and like that. In that description of his full surrender, there's mention that he engaged in the practice of touching the bodies of devotees, actual devotees, pure devotees. Spontaneous devotees. So devotees who are practicing under strict rules and regulations and austerity and repression and renunciation, they're not going to be in that category of devotional service. Oh, there's a qualifier on that. Prabhupada qualifies this touching of the bodies of devotees. He qualifies that in saying that this happens naturally in the course of serving together. In other words, you don't go out and just try to touch everybody, unless, of course, that's occurring naturally in your service to Krishna. The path of Raganuga is a little different from what the devotees are following Vaidhi Bhakti are familiar with. It's being introduced now. The Christians have, in their worship of the Holy Spirit, have had access to this type of communion with the Lord, the living God, living in the bodies of others as well as themselves. This type of communion. As well as in praise of the Lord, the holy names of the Lord. So anyone who goes against this ecstatic worship of the living God, the ecstatic God, Krishna. Krishna has many aspects. As they approach me, I reward them accordingly, he says. So many people will approach Krishna and the chanting of Hare Krishna and devotional service and still remain inimical to the ecstasy of the Lord, the ecstatic worship of the Lord, the joy, pure joy, unlimited joy and bliss. They'll get a little glow because Krishna is Krishna. They'll get something. There's something for everyone in Krishna. But they won't actually get Krishna, full Krishna, which is being offered. This is Lord Chaitanya's movement. He's offering entrance into the ecstasy of Vrindavan. His pastimes in Vrindavan. He's offering that. He's sending his representatives. And that's the way it works. By making a connection with Krishna's authorized representative. And the path opens up. So, the devotees who are not accepting the actual path of entering Vrindavan, they're going to experience some disturbances. And they're going to need energy rebalancing. You're going to have to pay somebody a lot of money to have them manipulate their bodies to relieve the stress. Otherwise, they go crazy. It's too much. When all they really have to do is just surrender to Krishna and associate with the other devotees who are actually surrendered to Krishna. All their energy will become rebalanced. And it won't cost tens of thousands of dollars over years and years and years of rebalancing and getting nowhere. Paying someone to touch your body. Well, you take that to the extreme, and we've seen that too in devotees who have tried to renounce everything completely, even Krishna, even ecstatic Krishna. See, this renunciation, it ends up throwing the baby out with the bathwater. They just become attached to renunciation. miss the point of renunciation. Our Acharyas, Rupa Goswami, advises that real renunciation is yukta vairagya, to use everything for Krishna, to offer everything to Krishna. Everything belongs to Krishna, including emotions, including this body, belongs to Krishna. Mind belongs to Krishna. Everything belongs to Krishna. So we see it go to the extreme for some devotees. Have had to pay prostitutes to manipulate their bodies in a certain way because there's building up, going crazy. That's one scenario that happens, and we have history of that within the Krishna consciousness movement. And then there's license for that, relief of that kind of pressure, by getting married and honorably helping each other to rebalance your energies. It's called marriage. You take responsibility and make some progress. Those that's not working may have to go outside that. But see, that isn't everything either. Just getting married isn't everything either. That's not going to solve the problem. The problem is surrender to Krishna. Ecstatic Krishna. To develop love for ecstatic Krishna. And to associate with those who have ecstatic love for Krishna. Because, why? That's what's going on in the spiritual world. That's what's going on in Vrindavan. And this lifetime is an opportunity to prepare ourselves to go to Vrindavan and associate with the ecstatic Krishna and the ecstatic devotees of Krishna, absorbed in loving moods. So these disciples, I'm meeting them now, several of them, they're going to these energy rebalancers and paying them money to rebalance their energy, when all they really have to do is take shelter of the ecstatic worship of the Lord in the association of those that are worshiping the Lord in ecstasy. The living God, the living Krishna. There's a lot of talk about, you don't need a living guru. Well, what that means is, you don't need a living God either. I mean, just carry it over, you know. If someone is inimical to a living representative of the Lord, then they're also inimical to a living God, isn't it? It's time, folks. It's time. It's time to surrender. And Krishna's making the arrangements. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.